graphics machine, and we are about to unveil who will be in the college football playoff for the 2023 season. It is presented by AT&T. The final rankings from the selection committee, the number one team in the country is, we're seeing these when you do, and it's Michigan State. There was some thought because Texas has a couple more wins against the top 25 that maybe the Longhorns would move into that spot, but the Spartans, we assume, will go to the Rose Bowl. The semifinals are in the Rose Bowl and in the Sugar Bowl on New Year's Day, the perfect setting for the semifinals. And the Spartans are going for the third straight year. They're 13-0. There's Jim Harbaugh. Who's got it better than you, Jimmy? Determined, resolute, probably. Oh, I don't see any whole milk there, just orange juice. Diet Coke. Who's number two? We assume it will be Texas Longhorns. And it is indeed. What a job. Kalen DeBoer and Texas ripped through 9.5-point underdog to Oregon in the Pac-12 championship game. People thought they escaped in Seattle, and they absolutely made a statement, and they're going to the playoff for the first time since the 16 season.
Yeah, I think to the point where people assumed that Oregon was going to win that game. People felt very confident Oregon was going to win that game. And the way Washington took the field and started that game set the tone, and it never looked back from there.
And to me, the physicality of the Huskies dominated. You thought Oregon was going to be the more physical team. Washington controlled the line of scrimmage and won the game.
Okay, now remember how the committee does this. You have 6 teams in a group, then you rank them, and the top 3 are taken off the board then, and then they repeat the process. So when the rankings, the final time they went through the group phase, here's the third team that was taken off and put on the board. Who's number 3? Washington Huskies. Steve Sarkisian's team winning a conference championship for the first time since 2009 and making the playoff for the first time. Longhorns really haven't even been close to making the playoff, and here they are, final year of the 4-team field. Burn orange! We assume that will put them in New Orleans. And while Washington's the second seed and will wear the home jerseys, that's going to be somewhat of an advantage from a crowd standpoint for Texas, one would think, if that is indeed how the semifinals are matched up in the sites that they have. So we have Michigan, Texas, Washington, as we said right off the top, you've got these one spot left, and you've got 4 teams with resumes. Texas now has made it into the field. Let's have a look at these remaining resumes. 3 teams, 1 spot. Alabama, Georgia, Ohio State. Kirk, how should this come out in your judgment?
Alabama should be
6. Alabama should be
the
injuries.
Ohio State. It's just, you can't avoid it. It's nothing against what they accomplished. Obviously, what they accomplished is extraordinary, to be undefeated, be an ACC champion. But that injury to Jordan Travis is part of what the committee takes into consideration. If you're looking at Alabama versus Florida State, under the current team and roster, it'd be very, very hard to imagine Alabama not being there at 4.
We go back to the rankings in the unveil. Let's look now at number
4
and see who's been eliminated and see what the final decision came down to. Who's number
4?
The Georgia Bulldogs. So after consecutive national championships, Georgia will compete in the playoff, and this is also the first time that the team that was number 1 in the penultimate rankings has fallen completely out of the college football playoff field. So this leaves us with the decision that everyone thought we would end up having. Ohio State or Alabama. 1 spot, whoever 6 plays the Georgia Bulldogs. Number 5, heartbroken. Who's number 6? And Alabama will not compete in the playoff. Ohio State winds up at number 5. And Ohio State is the first undefeated champion from a Power 5 conference to fail to make the field in the college football playoff era.
Wow. I'm not shocked with how
Ohio State
played